Welcome to Guitars, Bars, and Local Stars, hosted by Mark Ski and Lee Pons. Covering all things music, from live performances and local stars to every facet of the music biz, from venue ownership to musician management. Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Mark Ski and Lee Pons.
All right. Well, here we are finally, after a couple months of preparation. I want to welcome everybody here to a brand new show on the RockSlam Network. This is Guitars, Bars, and Local Stars. My name is Mark Ski. This show is brought to you and sponsored by GoTonight.com, right behind me there. And we'd also like to thank Billy McKnight and the Soul Circus Cowboys and Jane's World Entertainment. I got Lee Pons here to my left.
Hello.
I have Sherry Englehart to my right, who really is the brains behind this outfit.
We're in trouble.
And we have a special guest today, Mr. Steve Arvey, sitting on the far left of myself.
Now we are in trouble.
Yeah, and you guys are in, I think, for a little bit of a ride today with Steve. We're not sure which one of his personalities showed up today, but we're hoping to get several of them this afternoon. And I don't know, just go around the room here. I'll let Lee do a little talking, introduce himself, and sit back.
Tell us about yourself here, real quick.
All right. Well, I'm Mark Ski. I'm a local musician. I'm a guitarist. I've played around the Bradenton area, mainly Manatee County, for the last probably 5 or 6 years. My music career goes back many more years than that, but I won't get into it. But I played with Mitch Clark and Rebecca Bird and several other people. I went to Mexico on a little bit of an adventure and toured around for 8 months with a band called Crimino. I'm back now and playing up in the Palm Harbor area with a band called Karen and the Uprights. And that's me. And I am by no means a professional broadcaster. So go easy.
Boy, you're talking to the wrong guy on that one. Hi, good folks. I'm Lee Pons right here. A lot of guys over here in the St. Pete area know me already. I do a lot of stuff around here. Do a lot of solos, play piano, boogie woogie, and New Orleans stuff all over town here. Been here a long time. Been here with a bunch of other bands like Cheeky Monkey and Smoking Run and a bunch of bands in this town. Everybody, if you don't know me already, you're probably one of the lucky ones. So, but it's like now we're going live on the internet and we got TV shows and everyone's going to know all of us. And boy, we're going to be in big trouble now. This is going to be funny. It's like, I'm glad to hear about Mark's stuff today because actually, believe it or not, this is the first time we actually met. We haven't met before today. We've talked on the phone, I think like twice.
Yeah.
All right. Mostly on the internet and Facebook and stuff. So I figured it's good not to meet them until the day of the show because I may not like him. So and that was like, I want to get one show where I like you.
Yeah,
you know?
Unfortunately, we're getting along so far.
Yeah, I know. That's a scary part. That scares me. Let's talk about our friend over here to our right.
Yeah, Sherry, what's up?
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Sherry Englehart, and I have been promoting the website GoTonight.com. Probably for the last 2.5 years or so in the North Tampa regions. The website started in Sarasota. And as a result of all my involvement with working with this website, I see a lot in the music scene around Tampa Bay. And I get exposed to a lot of interesting things. And one of the interesting things I got exposed to last year was a couple of seminars that was done by Steve Arvey, our guest today. And actually, the reason we're sitting here today is probably because I attended those seminars by Steve Arvey. He talked about the new music biz in those seminars, and I just thought that was really, really interesting, and I just kind of tucked it away in the back of my mind. And then sometime later, I got a call from TalkWad Network. That's the network we're on. And they gave me a call and they said, wouldn't you like to do a show? Wouldn't GoTonight like to do a show on our network? And I'm like, no, I don't have time, and I don't know what I would do. And then I just started thinking about it. And then I remembered those seminars by Steve Arvey. And I said, because at that time, we had actually a venue owner, Bruce from the Flying Dog Cafe, who actually got up and talked. And he said, yeah, I really wish I could reach out to more venues and tell them more about, what we're doing here at the Flying Dog and how they can be successful. And so I thought, you know what? That's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about how people can be more successful in the music industry. There's so many challenges that are faced by venues. I know, number one, they need to meet their payrolls. They have to keep their bars stocked, and they have a lot of worries. And the live music that they're hosting is just a kind of a thorn in their side sometimes. So anyway, I'm hoping through this show that we will be able to offer some advice, all the different topics we're going to be talking about in the next few months. Keep tuning in and see what's going on. But that's why we're here today, is all because of those seminars way back when. And I don't know. I could even go on to talk about why Mark is sitting here.
Yeah, well, there's no need for that. I can tell you this. One thing that we've all, or Lee and I and Sherry, have discussed a whole bunch of stuff and talked about this at length for a couple months now. And, Sherry mentioned the venue owners and the challenges that they face. Lee and I, fortunately or unfortunately, come from the other side of this equation. And, as far as the music community here, I mean, we see constant rants and raves from musicians about, not getting paid enough, this, that, and the other thing. We do plan to have shows where we're going to have the actual venue owners and the musician that may have had a problem together as guests on the show.
And they get paid?
No, they're not. Neither of them are going to be paid when they're on the show.
Oh, great! No one's going to like us now.
But that could get kind of interesting because they'll be right here live to watch debate about that. Right now, I'd like to introduce our guests to everybody. I know a lot of folks that are probably tuned into this, and I thank you for that. Are tuned in because of the fact that this gentleman was nice enough to come on the air with us. He's a good friend of mine, or I consider him a good friend of mine, and he's doing this for us today, and I really appreciate it. It's Mr. Steve Arvey, and Steve played in Chicago for many years. He'll tell you more about himself in detail, but he's toured internationally. He makes his living playing music. He plays all over the Tampa Bay area. He's involved in a lot of different charities, and he's really quite an entertainer. Go ahead, Lee.
Yes, Steve has played with a bunch of really well-known, great musicians, blues artists out of Chicago and stuff. You played at the Charles Blues Festival every year for the last 20, I think, something like that. Since the inception of it, and tons of stuff that Steve has done, and that's not even that's just one of his personalities. Then he has all these other personalities, the many faces of Arvey, as I say, that he does, and he does successful with all those things. But we wanted to ask you, Steve, since we are talking about business and the music stuff and everything else, what do you see going on right now in the music business and stuff? What's going on? Tell us a little about yourself and what you see, what is happening, what are you seeing around things, and what's right and what's wrong, you think?
Who is this?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everybody. What's going on with the music business? I mean, we could spend, we could spend about 4 or 5
you gotta eat the mic.
hours going over everything. Rephrase the question. Let's try to.
Well, first, tell us about you. Before we go into
give us a
anything
little
else.
background.
Give some background.
I'm 55 years old now, born in Chicago, 57. I, spent a lot of time in the blues world. Spent time in the Celtic world in Chicago. Started writing songs. Well, I started writing songs, early on, and I found that releasing CDs and albums, marketing myself, I played around. I've got like 15 CDs, 3 albums. And just singer, songwriter, musician. Nothing really special. I'm not a great vocalist or a great, great guitar player. I've come up with a few songs that have helped me go around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Been able to adapt and market myself, and I've had some corporate jobs too. I haven't been totally,
Right.
just as a musician. I think that's really helped me out in the music business by learning some corporate skills that have really helped out a lot.
Right.
Which I find it really funny that a lot of times a lot of owners and a lot of people don't respect musicians. They always think we're just idiots. When I know, excuse me, I know people with financial planning degrees, lawyers, doctors, that actually have a lot of sense. So,
Right.
but
right.
we'll go on to that later. But just pretty much just musician, and I work full time as a musician. And Sherry was at my making money in the music business realistically. And the reason I put that out was because of some of the constant emails you have as a musician. You get like, we could be on this compilation and you spend $450 or join get an EPK and pay to play and all of this stuff. And there's all these people that are like in England and have some credos supposedly, and I'll help you do this and I'll be there, but you pay me this and that and I'll do that. And it's like no. If you're gonna do it a certain way and making money, you can do it yourself. You don't have to have. It's good to have management. I mean, I have a manager. I've got 2 agents,
Right.
but I also have people I hire as my special assistants. I've had Tanya in Chicago, Tanya Boyer, who did a great job for me for years with paperwork and stuff like that. Now I've got both Maggie Gatorstein and Michelle Gatorstein. Maybe you've seen some of them on Facebook. They're
Yeah. Well, one thing.
So anyway,
I'm not mentioning a word, but
Yeah, one thing also, Steve, that I've noticed about you and has always impressed me as I've gotten to know you is you have really a lot of different musical entities going on, and you can adapt to just about anything that any gig would require, from a solo tiki bar type deal to duo to horn band.
Yeah.
To your band. You have a band called the Band of Steves, where everybody's named Steve in the band. But you really have gone out of your way to adapt to whatever's available. In other words, if there's something available, you can go do it because you have that skill to do it. You self-deprecatingly say, I'm not that great of a singer or guitar player, but what I think you are, but I also think you're a hell of just an entertainer, and you have the ability to take just about any situation and be entertaining in that situation.
Well, I'll be honest with you, and I've worked with some big record producers, that have helped me out, and yes, I am a chameleon, but that's also hurt me in a way that I don't really have a voice,
right?
Like somebody like Steve Earle or Dwight Yoakam, Freddie Mercury. They actually have their own voice. So or like Mike Zito, for example, when you hear Zito, you know it's Zito,
right?
Like Lee's song. It's a great video too with the Star Trek people.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. When I go out at night.
When I go out at night, I mean, there's. It's Lee. So in a way, it's kind of hurt me in a way, because producers in the studio are like, well, where the hell is the real Steve Harvey?
Well,
I
think intrinsically you're a blues artist, and but to make a living, and we're speaking here about musicians making a living on a local level for the most part. I mean, you have people say, well, how am I going to? I've seen you in 1 week play 3-4 different types of gigs.
Because like my manager in Chicago calls, it says I'm a gig pig.
What's wrong with that if that's your job?
Well, yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I do like playing, like tonight's jazz night. I enjoy my jazz.
Where are
night.
you this evening?
I'm at Ocean Blues, and that's probably one of my weakest styles. But I've surrounded myself with some really good jazz artists.
That's a fun. I think I admit that's a fun jam.
That's something you're telling me. You were trying to bulk up on the jazz.
Yeah, I'm trying to bulk up on the jazz. I go through phases. Sometimes I'll go through Celtic phases. I'll go through country phases. I'll go through like finger-picking acoustic blues. I'll bury myself in Robert Johnson, Charlie Patton, Tommy Johnson, that stuff. Then right now I'm into Grant Green. I'm a Grant Green, because of YouTube now. There's all these albums and Grant Green stuff that's just unbelievable. So I just go through phases. But, to work down here, you have to be adaptable, and that way also the main reason I do that is because then people can see different shows.
Yeah.
You're not going to see.
Yeah, they don't get bored.
My show last night, the Blue Rooster, is totally different than tonight.
Yep.
And there's a way to do it.
Yeah, I'll talk about you. I can go see you 3 times a week and see a totally different Steve Harvey.
Right, exactly.
It's not that they come see me, like what you say about having a voice. They don't come see me. Right, that one night they come the next night. It's going to see the same, basically, different set list or whatever, different order of songs, but it's going to be the same thing. It's like right in the middle of a set. I've seen you actually change.
Oh,
like someone become Ricky Ricardo. you know, and stuff. You know, it's hilarious.
I love being Ricky Ricardo, but you know, and my hats go out to Victor Lima with Tampa Bay. What's the Rock Network?
Tampa Bay Music Network.
Right.
Tampa Bay Music
Right.
Network.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's got the Rock. Well, whatever Victor's doing, I saw yesterday. He did a thing over at Peggy's Corral, and he went ahead and he put together like all of the like an all-star rock band, like you know, that like local stars around here, and that was good. You know, it'd be really nice to do more gigs where you're working with different people. Like that's what I did down at Ocean Blues. I bring Lee Pons. Nobody's ever seen Lee Pons, and I bring different people and do different shows. You know, I think if we all do that, more people are going to come out and say, wow, this is something that's neat and something that's different. So
yeah, definitely was a lot of fun. I remember we played over there at Ocean Blues. It was a blast. We had a really good time over there.
Yeah.
And it was something. And again, my YouTube channel right now, I know I put a lot of videos up, but I have a lot of people around the world that are watching that are on my YouTube channel, and YouTube is now, after Apple came out with the new Apple TV, I mean, people are watching me on HDMI. They're plugging into their big sets, so there's a lot of potential, and I'd like to see more bands around here, put videos out, because it really helps. My challenge right now is to capitalize on my fans in Australia and in Europe, because costs have gone up so much for me to fly to Australia. And the venues are shrinking, which there's going to be new type of venues that are coming up, but venues are shrinking all over the world. Bars are dying. That's just the way it is. I mean, you can't, and it's so hard for venue owners to sit and justify paying out bands when their liquor prices are going up, their food prices are going up. How are they going to do it? But there's a new way that musicians are going to start capitalizing on this. Like you went to the Arts Garage.
Right.
Perfect example in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. We need an Arts Garage on the West Coast.
How
did you do it, the Arts Garage?
I'll tell you what, we were talking about, we did the South Florida Boogie Woogie Piano Festival. It was like 2 days of like, I think it was like 8 or 9 of some of the best Boogie Woogie players in the country. How I got on that set, I have no idea.
You're a good Boogie Woogie piano player.
But it's like, we had myself, Victor Wainwright, Nikki Hunt,
Piano Bob.
We had
your Barrel House Chuck.
Yeah, what was going on? So we had the English Bob.
Yeah, English Bob, right?
He was there. I mean, it was just incredible show. And I'm trying to do one over here, bring one over here.
Well, tell us about that. What is that? What is it you just did that you're talking about? Because I'm not familiar with that.
The
Arts Garage is it's just a big garage. Here, you tell them, because you played there.
Well, what it is, it's like basically it used to be a parking garage, right? It's the bottom floor of what used to be a parking garage, and they redid it to make it into an events venue, an arts venue. They do classes there in music, acting, painting, and art. They have gallery showings. They do concerts and events. It's like this little community they build up, and it's doing really, really, really well. And the talent they got coming into that place is amazing. And it's like we really could use something like that over here, without a doubt. It's one of the best things I ever saw, and it's a gorgeous place. I mean, I say it used to be a garage, but they fixed it up. They really fixed it up. I mean, you would never know it used to be a garage.
Now, are they serving liquor and?
No, you gotta bring your own.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the whole thing.
You won't buy. Yeah.
See, this is what I.
Well, that's when you think about it, that's kind of a different entity. I mean, it's not a bar at that point. It's a space.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
I'm not saying good or bad. Yeah. I'm just saying that we're not even talking about the same thing at that point.
What I've been trying to find, I've got some
venues,
investors from up north that want to buy a warehouse, and that's it. You don't have to worry about liquor license.
Right.
You don't have to worry about food license. I don't even want a damn soda machine. You got a bunch of chairs. You come in, you watch the show. The band gets a 70% split. The house gets 30%. It's packed.
Yeah,
I've done these things.
I mean, it's to me. I agree with you, and it's a bohemian dream, man.
Yeah.
But can it become a reality? I know
it has it there.
It has, and they have the same type of thing in Chicago, and most big cities actually have large art communities. I know Bradenton has that whole area downtown. That's the art community,
right?
But nobody's really been able to come together for the one space yet, other than that one that you guys were talking about here.
It's very, and I've done this down in Costa Rica. You know, the Costa Rica's got the Jazz Cafe in Escazú, and they've done a wonderful job there. They do have 2 bars on each side, but they've created a place that's like a horseshoe type theater, and the place really packs up well. And it's you know, we just don't in Bradenton, we don't have a venue that can support.
Yeah, you don't have a physical building that anybody's found at this point.
It's something
There's Aces, but I mean, Aces can only put so many people, and you don't have sight lines. But the bottom line is we need some more. What about the young kids? I mean, where to, like, you know, when I do my Black Sabbath tribute, most places won't hire me because they know it's going to be too loud. Where do these kids play with, you know?
Well, I have a good friend of mine named Key Bland. He's a young drummer that a lot of people know that's in a band now called Sugar Fix. And those guys are pretty much, you know, a young band. They've probably only been together for 6 months, but I think it's really a matter of buckling down, man. I mean, these guys have got, you know, you can sit and complain or you can go out and get it. And that's just life in general. And these guys are in the studio right now recording their first album. This is 6 months into the inception of their band. And they play gigs, and granted, they're not making a lot of money at these gigs, but they're young and they're hungry, and they're not like us that are just trying to make a living to eat all week. And you can do it if I think a lot of it has to do with desire, and it's about life in general more than just the music business. And we're getting questions coming in over the internet here. And
let me make one suggestion for everybody before you
go ahead, Steve.
Because what I think people should do more when I do my seminars, the first thing I do is say, take a landmark course or you know, you need to know how to pace yourself. Because even like older guys like me even if you're a gig pig guy, you know, I'm right now working. You're in my new video. I'm in a new download card. You got to keep releasing music. Sure. Because if the only way you're going to sell, you know, you've got a whole world on the internet out there for you, and he's done it, you know. The people will buy your product.
Well, I think you're basically validating everything I just said. I mean, it's there if you want it. You just got to go get it. You know what I mean?
Well, there's always there's always gonna have the guys who's going to be complaining. We're going to make we're not making enough. They're not doing this. It's like, but you know what? It's like the same thing we told guys about. There's not enough gigs. It's that there's a lot of gigs. You just got to be able to find your gigs and get out there. And sometimes you got to think outside the box too. Yeah. Like, for instance, like the Arts Garage and that kind of stuff. It isn't a bar per se, but there's tons of places you can play that aren't bars, you know, galleries and that. It also depends on the kind of music you want to do too, obviously. But I know, like, some of these young kids, right? They'll get together and they'll get 3 or 4 or 5 of these bands together, right? And they'll go play at a warehouse someplace. Right, and
those are their massive parties.
You know? Yeah, and they charge. I mean, we used to do this kind of stuff when we were kids. And someone would buy like a keg of beer or whatever, right? And charge $1 for a drink or whatever it was, you know, or a cover charge. And guys would pay it, and then, you know, and they had a blast, you know. Right. It was great stuff, and that's, you know, you don't see a lot of that much anymore. I don't think.
I think I'm just too old to be seeing it.
That could be it too.
It's probably out there. You know, if anybody knows. Call us in. You know, I want to make sure that the youths these days they can go out and turn up loud, because it's, you know, me with the Black Sabbath tribute band. A lot of places won't hire me because we try to turn up and they're like, there's no way. But I want to see the youths go up and turn up.
And by the way,
there's nothing better when you're 18 years old.
You just say youths.
And put your amp there. Let's take this call.
Yeah. Look, I'm here with a bunch of Yankees here. Look at these guys. It's like, geez.
I'm telling you.
How'd this happen?
Let me ask Steve a question. These questions are coming in directed right to Steve, because I guess they think he knows what he's talking about, and he does. This question from Jason. Jason Harem is writing to me on the internet here, and his question says he plans on coming back home within a couple of months. He's wondering how he can go about finding a decent booking agent. He said he's tired of dealing with the club owners directly and all the other BS that goes with it. And what is your advice on getting a booking agent, Steve?
Most of the club owners down here don't use booking agents. Yeah. I mean, there's, Jimmy James, who books the Green Iguanas.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're the right fit for Green Iguanas, I mean, I like Jimmy.
It's a tight fit.
Yeah, no, Jimmy. Jimmy's got what the Green Iguana. I think Jimmy James does a really good job. A lot of people knock him, but
No.
and I think more clubs need people like Jimmy James that sit there. If you got a certain genre, he fills it in. I mean, a lot of these musicians, they need to understand that if a club is doing all blues, like when I first started working with Scott Ocean Blues, he had me as his advisor. I mean, there was a lot of bands that called up that were more copy bands and copy rock bands. Well, then you need to stick to those clubs. Okay. The question Jason is saying is agents. I do use a few agents. Tom White at Skipper Smokehouse books me, but he only books me on mostly corporate shows. He doesn't book me at any other clubs. Jane's on Jane's World. She books. But Jane's only got certain she doesn't deal with the clubs. I mean, the bottom line is a lot of the agents don't want to deal with the clubs because
same reasons that we don't.
Well, no, they don't want to pay a lot of money, so it's kind of it's a little difficult for them to put the time into it. Scapatera does a good job down in Inglewood. I'll say that he does a pretty good job. There's some guys out there, but I noticed this. The better the following you have and you build stuff up. Like now, finally, I'm getting my jazz project off. I had a club just all of a sudden email me on Sunday morning. How much do you want to pay? I'm not going to say what they're not going to pay what we need for the jazz quartet because of traveling, but at least I'm seeing now that people are watching the videos and
getting responses
and people are calling you. I mean, to come down here and work this circuit, you can't call or email these venues.
Let me just jump in there real quick, Steve, because you just answered another question that somebody just sent in, and let me try to give them credit, and I appreciate people participating in this. Her name's Natalie Myers, and one of her questions was, what's the best way, or should you be trying to book gigs online or in person? And the minute I read that, I knew if I asked you guys that, we'd all be like, in person.
Got to.
Yeah. I don't really think that there's a way you can book a gig unless you're so well known and such a high draw that you've just got repeat bookings that you're going to get any kind of gig unless you're there in person.
Yeah,
do you agree with that?
You got it. Okay. A lot of the club owners down here, they want to see. When I first came down here, the story is that in 2005 I played the Blues Cruise for the Blues Society, and I met this girl Diane. A lot of people know this, and then we started dating. She'd come to Chicago. I'd come down here, and she, helped me like with Dave's Aqua Lounge and some of that. I mean, I've played all over the world. I've got, all of that stuff. That press package didn't mean a damn thing.
Yep.
Because the club owners, I would have to do auditions.
Right.
I mean, and then, I'd go to do an audition and the club owner didn't show up. It was so frustrating, because I've had other people call me from New York News. I played with Springsteen. I got this incredible press package. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter.
I already said that once.
I thought you were going to say you played with the Allman Brothers. We're in this area.
No, the bottom.
No, it's Almond Joy.
No, the bottom line is that you have to, you go to see a club owner, but you drop off a one sheet. You don't want to bother them when they're busy. They don't have time, and that's a problem. A lot of these club owners, the last thing on their mind is the music. Right. They're like, they put it to somebody, and club owners. You shouldn't do that because let me tell you, most of the places that keep jerking the bands around, double booking only, you go out of business. I mean, I don't know.
He's looking straight at you as he says that.
I'm telling you right now, we have a lot of power now, musicians. With the internet, we have followings, okay? Don't mess around with us because what happens is the fans call you up.
Now.
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to start getting like Paulie here because this is a thing. Have respect for us and know that, have somebody on your staff that knows music and that knows what's good for your room. And also what you should do is also put out some guidelines. I got to say, Bongos down at the beach, when you go there, they give you a sheet on what they expect you to do there. And it's really nice. A lot of club owners are like, just go set up in the corner and play. No.
Not
what
that
would you-
corner, the other
what would you-
corner.
how would you like your sets? How would you like, turning over tables? Music is an integral part of your business, and we can help bring people in and create the atmosphere that we need. On the other hand, musicians, we need to start sticking together. We got the Tampa Bay Musicians Network. We got South of the Bridge. We got 941 Musicians Group, which is a closed group for people to live down there. Let's work together and try to,
We got the co-op.
that's something. The co-op. All of this stuff helps. Okay, there's enough work for everybody out there. Let's try to, to get the communication with the venues and the clubs and do what we need to do.
Well, I agree with everything you just said as far as the way that club owners should be treating the musicians, but just to play a little devil's advocate, and I'm a musician, so I'm on your side on this. But also, there's a little bit of thought that should go into it. I think from the musician's perspective too.
Oh, definitely.
I played a gig the other night, and we spent a little bit of time setting. It was the first time we were at this venue. We knew it was gonna. It was an event that had been put on by the club, so we knew there was going to be a good attendance there, whether we were there or not. But we knew we were going to be the entertainment in advance. So, we got in there a little bit early. We got a little bit of special lighting. We set it up to look like a bit of an event, to make and promote ourselves. We didn't show up half an hour before the start time, plug our amps in and start playing. And I got to tell you, I see a lot of musicians, and people are going to hate me probably for saying it, but there's more to this, I think, than just showing up and playing. And you've got to separate yourself from the bunch. And
It's
if
a business. It is.
and if you're not willing to put in a little bit extra effort, and it's gonna. All I can say is it's gonna help you.
Yeah.
We walked out of that place. There was 400 people at that show for us, and it was our first gig. Not because of us, because we knew this event was there, but we ended up getting 2 more bookings for the next 2 of those events. So we guaranteed ourselves, an audience of 400 people.
Look.
Oh, here we go.
The reason you got these gigs again is because of musicians. The pants.
Yeah, it was.
Pants. You gotta have cool pants, guys.
Here's another pointer for all of you.
You're overmodulating now. Don't get all excited now.
You're overmodulating.
He's getting
phased
That
out.
was the $27 Amazon.com laser light, brother.
Yeah.
I got one of those.
All right.
All right. Anyway, to get back to Jason and what was her name? I'm sorry.
Natalie.
Well, you know what?
Natalie. I mean, pretty much, there aren't a lot of agents. I say this, and one of the most successful, like I was just on the phone with Steve Grant. Steve plays in the band of Steve's. He also plays with Rebecca Pulley. He's got a few different bands. Lee, I've been networking with you. I've got Dave Perry. I've got Dana Lawrence. Get in with some other musicians and start networking with them. I talked to Doug Deming today. We network together. I let him know about gigs down in the Keys to help pick up dates. He lets me know what's going on. Steve Scott's been really good. If you start working with a few musicians and we start networking, that's pretty much what the Tampa Bay Musicians Network, the co-op is about.
Co-op, right.
I like the co-op. I'm a member of the co-op. I only get so many gigs. Don't go to the co-op thinking I'm going to get all of these gigs. It's more than that. It's working together.
Is that the Safety Harbor Co-op?
Yeah,
is that
right.
with Regina?
Yeah, Regina's thing.
I'm cooking here. We got a new thing. This Friday, I'm going to be cooking. Okay? I'm cooking one of my dishes that I learned how to cook in Italy. It's called Uncle Araghini's farfalle artichoke.
Is this a joke or are you being serious?
No.
Did you just make that up?
No. There's actually a video. If you look on YouTube, and I'm going to be posting it up for everybody. So what you're going to do now is
Where are you doing this at?
I'm at Fleur de Lis. So I'm cooking up for 30 people. She's cooking her food. So you're going to come. I'm going to sing songs. I'm also going to sing some Italian songs like "Tutto bene," and do some of my Italian stuff that I learned, and give you people a recipe of a good way for you to you can make the stuff cheap on the budget and it's good for you. And this is the kind of things that
just turned into a health food show.
But I'm going to make
what a great idea. I'm
I'm
going to steal your idea. You know what a great idea to do that on the Fleur de Lis Cafe. If you guys don't know what that is, that's the
you cook one of
Safety
your
Harbor.
I
do one in Louisiana.
Yeah,
do
cook
my
one in
Cajun
Louisiana,
stuff.
right? Exactly.
Make some jambalaya.
See,
about that.
these are creative ways as musicians we can start.
That's a
making
wonderful
money.
idea.
I'm telling you, there's so many opportunities right
Mark can
now
make
for
hot dogs.
2013. Hey, there's nothing wrong with hot dogs.
I'll just show up and eat you guys' dishes, man.
Yeah.
You keep my dish out.
So it's $25, all you can eat. Okay. And pretty much, I'm going to be playing my original songs and, singing, things like Tutto bene,
No.
un bicchiere, un Lamborghini, stuff like that. And,
Oh wow! Look, it's a commercial. Anyway,
no,
We muted that.
Here, like if you want to go
you told
tour
me you want
Italy,
him to play.
I mean, if you want to go to Italy, Italy likes Americana. There's so many ways now. If with your videos, and what you can do right now, the world right now is at your fingertips.
Yep.
In '89. I'd have to call Martin Van Olderen, who booked the Amsterdam Blues Festival in Utrecht, and, spend like, $70 in phone calls and mail an album.
Sure.
Or maybe I mailed a cassette. But no, he still needed the album.
Yeah.
To see that I had an album. And
An 8-track.
now you get on Facebook, there's so much stuff on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so many opportunities for musicians if you want to travel. If you don't, there's creative ways. Okay, I'm getting off on
That's all right. Hey, I'm getting a couple questions here that are more. They're more not so much sounding like people that are already entrenched in getting gigs and things like that, but more of a.
I got one in here. That's like they wants to know if Steve's single. I'm not lying.
Steve, are you single?
I'm not lying.
Steve is not.
I'm not
single.
even going to mention the guy's name. I'm not lying up another guy. Anyway,
all right. Here is.
Sorry about that.
I'm getting text here from people too.
Yeah.
That was me.
Steve? What do you recommend for promotion if somebody is changing genres? This is the new material's not ready yet. However, the booking and promotion has begun. What do they do to?
Oh, who sent this one? That's a good question.
Good on here.
Not sure, but that's the question.
Well, here, I mean, I don't have an album yet for my jazz project. We're working on the album right now. So what I did was I went on 4x4. If you go on 4x4.com band site, I made Steve Arvey Jazz Quartet website, which actually somebody found and called me the other day for a gig, which is interesting. I'll tell you right now, the YouTube thing is just out of control.
Yeah.
If you can go ahead on eBay right now and get a Nikon Coolpix L1110 refurbished for $150. Go to my Steve Arvey YouTube channel and you'll see the quality that little camera knocks out. You get the L1110 because it's got a really good volume control in it. They're still selling them used because the volume it picks up, it just makes a great video. Get some videos of the band. Go ahead and build one of these cheap websites. Put your thing on YouTube, embed it, and then bam, now you've got a website. Eventually it's nice for you to have your own URL and for people to find you, but forget about sonic bids and making that thing. I mean, listen, videos are the way to go. And I know I have like 1,550 videos on YouTube, which seems like a lot. It is a lot. Some of the stuff I probably have to delete, but you never know when somebody stumbles, like in Arkansas, the Heritage Blues Festival saw this new project. I got the Delta Swamp Rats. We have no album yet for the Swamp Rats, but it's going. I hope that can answer the question, or did I go on and
I want to add something
Go ahead.
about videos. I think videos is a terrific way for bands to promote themselves, but my only caution is that it better be a good video, because I think a lot of bands put out a bad video, and I think it ruins them because our people look at that and they go, "Oh no."
Well, you got to think about what you're doing.
No.
I want to tell you something.
Here we go.
This is interesting because
This is gonna be
in England, here's what happens in England. Okay. Steve Arvey band is playing at the Darlington Arts Center, and here's Ethel and Joe Hopstetter sitting at home Saturday morning. Well, what are we going to do, Ethel? Oh, I don't know. Let's see. You want to see a movie? Maybe we go to the Darlington Arts Center. Oh, all right. Let me see. Steve Arvey's playing.
I never heard of spam. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I've never heard of Steve Arvey. Well, all right. Let's go and check him on YouTube. Well, here's one of his produced videos, but let's see what we can find that's more of a live shot. and then he takes a look and sees because a lot of people kind of like if they see something on shot on an iPhone or whatever, because then it's more realistic. All of a sudden the people are like, well, that's what they really sound like. Because right now, and this is another thing, musicians stop with all this nonsense and incredulous stupidity of this hype. I've got this internet award and I've got this and I've won this, and then no. Bottom line is, what do you sound like on that video? Because a lot of people are sick and tired of a poster at a club. This guy's won 72 awards and blah blah blah. No. They in England, it's this.
They're gonna go. Now.
They're gonna go out. They want to see what you do, and then I mean, I've had one guy come out and he goes, "Oh, I don't like your music." I'm like, well, why did you come here and spend 10 quid, which is like about $14? Oh, I thought you were really funny. I saw these funny videos, and I just liked the way you talk and personality. But the guy came out. And because he saw me at certain places, so videos are really the way to do it. And YouTube is free, and you can get monetization over there. I'm making money on monetization right now, like left and right.
Yeah, I agree. I've got quite a few things on there. I'm not making the money that you probably are, which probably isn't a lot.
No, it's not a lot.
But I know what you're talking about. But to also,
you brought me lunch.
Yeah, go back to what Cherie was saying. It's funny. I saw she's saying make sure they're good videos or whatever. The thing is now with the technology that's available now, and it's moving so fast. I mean, within a year, the technology has changed. You can go now and literally for about $100, you can pick up a little video sound recorder.
Well, that's what I just said.
I agree.
Nikon.
Yeah. I'm just kind of backing up what you're saying.
Good one. Great.
Right.
Camera,
and Sherry, you're right though. I have seen some. Like warbly crap. Like on.
Well,
you're right.
It is more than anything else. What she's saying. It's like the fact that it's like even though like we're talking about your live videos and stuff, they look really good. That camera takes great videos. Right, they look really good. I see a lot of guys with really bad iPhone cameras, and they're going up there and taking these videos, and they look horrible, and they sound horrible.
Well, I think the problem, too, is a lot of times it's not the guy. Maybe it's somebody in the crowd that tried to take a video after a couple cocktails on the dance floor. If the artist wants to post his own videos, the artist should be responsible for that. Go out and get one of these little cameras, set it up on a chair somewhere.
That's
static.
what I do.
Right. Set it up statically. You don't, you're not making the next, award-winning movie. You're just really presenting yourself. You want the sound to be decent. You want your image to be clear on there, and you're good to go, man.
But one thing I got to say about when it comes to videos and that kind of stuff too, another idea is like, be creative with the stuff. You know what I mean? Don't just. It's like if you want to go just with a live shot, that's great. But try to do something creative with it too, and it doesn't take a lot to actually do it. Like that one video of mine from
you got to see this guy's video. This is incredible.
I wish we had it here to post.
Yeah, I mean that's really a great video. I saw that video. I love that video.
And that video, you know how much it cost me to make? $6.
Wow.
It's like really, that's what it was. It's like $6 a month. Go on GoAnimate.com.
Yeah,
right. You can make up your. It's not easy, right?
Yeah,
it took me about a month to do it, right? But it's like
explain a little more deeply about that. Lee.
Well, what it is, it's GoAnimate.com. It's a website where you can actually make your own cartoons.
What's it called?
GoAnimate.com.
Okay.
.com. And it's a really cool one. If you see the video, there's an ad at the end of it for it, and you can make your own videos. They have different characters. You can design your own character. Like the other video I have, where I actually made a cartoon of myself.
It's great,
and
man.
it's really funny because it's like my mom looked at it and goes, that looks just like you, and but it's you can make these really cool, what I call schoolhouse rock looking type videos. You know what I mean? Remember those old schoolhouse rock things back when we were kids on TV?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's kind of what it looks like in a way. But the one I did, from the one that Steve was talking about, we used Star Trek characters, and you can go in there, you can animate them, you move them around however you want to, and all that kind of stuff. And it's great. And not only that, not only did it open up just to the blues guys who liked it, right? I posted it up on Star Trek sites, right, and web pages and that kind of stuff, and they went nuts with it. They would
See,
it's all
that's
tricky
just
guys.
another
Lee,
cre-
I'm telling
yeah,
you, I tell you, you're thinking this is
That's
what
it.
we need, folks.
That's it. That's
This
the
is
creative
thinking out of the
thinking.
box.
Yep.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's so many opportunities. It's just
They're out there. You just
unbelievable.
got to think about it.
Now, what do you think about now? Because I know your real opinion on this, so I want to get this out there real quick because I can't wait to get you on a roll on this one. All right, we all experience the facts that there are bands that when we're talking about you guys, there are bands out there who are running way too cheap and undercutting costs and that kind of stuff, and hurting this business for all of us, right? And so I'm going to turn the mic over to Steve on this one, and then for the next half hour, we're going to just let him just go nuts. Go ahead. Tell him what you think about this stuff. He's going to shut up that much.
Well, everybody has a right. Everybody has a right to start in the business. I mean, there's a lot of retirees now too that are retiring. I'm seeing a big influx of this down here right now, and they're retiring. They don't need the money because. Oh, who do we get?
All right, let's
Wait,
go ahead and take our call from
is it
Scotland.
Chris?
Hello, this is a call from Scotland.
Hey, how you doing?
Graham.
And it is indeed, Graham. How are you doing?
Feeling good.
I'm listening to you from Glasgow in Scotland right now, and it's great to see you and hear you.
How's Doc doing?
I'll tell you, they're fine. Listen, I don't know if the people over there know, but Steve's a big star here in the UK as well, He's very highly thought of. He's done some great gigs over here, and we hope he'll... a lot of people keep coming up to me because they know I spend a lot of time in Florida, and they say, how's Steve Arvey doing? Where's he playing just now? So we're looking forward to seeing Steve back in Scotland again.
How's little Debbie? You put her on the plane. We got a break.
Debbie. I was playing a gig just the other night, and Debbie was there. And if I'd known she was there, I would have got her up to sing. But she was taking photographs. She does a lot of photography work, And she was talking. She was asking for you.
Yeah. Is she single?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think
No,
maybe
I got
not.
Rebecca, but I tell
maybe
you.
not.
Why the one guy asked about you? So we'll hook those two
But
up.
listen, it's great.
Hello
It's
there,
great
little Debbie. How are
it's
you?
great to
Oh,
see you on live radio here from Scotland. I'm sitting here in dark Scotland. It's raining. It's wet. It's cold. It's miserable.
Well,
And you're sitting out there in the sun.
Now that I got you on the line from Scotland, and I've always enjoyed going to Scotland and performing over there. The flights are a lot more for me. I used to be able to fly from Chicago to Glasgow pretty cheap. But how's the music scene now? I mean, I think a lot. What's happening? I mean, is like
It's the same type of situation here. The one thing that's really good about the music scene here is that they don't allow any smoking in any bars. And I know that's controversial out there, but I'll tell you, I stopped playing in bars in the UK a good number of years ago because I just couldn't deal with the smoke anymore. But I'm happy to play in bars in the UK now because there's no smoking, and it's really helped.
For the most part, it's the same here now, unless it's a food establishment. But most of the places are not smoking.
I know the 5-0 has just stopped smoking now after 9 o'clock, which is great. Down in Hillview Street.
Yeah.
And the Ocean Blues, of course, doesn't have smoking. But the music scene is the same here in the UK. It's really hard for bands to get gigs that are paying enough money. But really, if a band's good enough, they do build a crowd, as you were saying. You just got to get out there and play. And if the band is good enough, you'll build a following, you build a crowd, and that's all that the bar owner or the club owner or whatever, that's all he wants. He wants to see that you're going to pull people in, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
What about promoters? I mean, Chris Simmons was doing a really good job in Aberdeen. What was his name? There's the other guy down in Edinburgh that did the Fringe Fest. And that's another thing too. We need more promoters. I mean, here we got Willie Miller in Inglewood, Italy, Vincenzo Tropepi who does stuff. How's the promoters? Trying to think of the.
We need more good promoters. There's lots and lots of people setting themselves up as promoters here, but they don't promote. That's the problem. They book bands into places, but they don't actually promote the gig, and they expect it to be sold out. And it's we need promoters that understand that's one of their jobs, is to promote the gig and get people so people know about it. You're never going to pull a crowd if people don't know the gig's on. That's what promoters should be doing.
Is Angus still doing promoting down in Dundee?
I don't know him. I mean, the band. I play in a couple of bands, and we don't really. The venues have come direct to us, and we're lucky that way. We don't have to really use agents around like that. We're quite fortunate. So I don't know many promoters really that I work with, But
I got to tell you a funny story about Alfie, the guy that books the Arbroath Seafood Festival. He came up, you know Alfie, right?
I think so.
Okay, so he comes to my gig in Dundee, and he's like, "I'll give you a 50 pounds of smokies." Smokies are like the smokies from Arbroath. Sorry, I'm talking like you. Most people right now in Scotland be kicking my butt for doing that, and it was just so funny because I'm like, dude, you got to deal with Chris, my agent. I can't take 50 pounds of smokies back to the United States.
I know, you couldn't take them back to Glasgow, for God's sake, never mind the United States.
Well, anyway, I don't want to get self-indulgent. You're calling me up today made my day, and thinking about my times in Scotland, and I'll post that Little Debbie video up. I love Little Debbie. She's a great singer. She's, a lot of fun, and it's so nice that people still remember me. And I'll come over there soon. I'll be back in Scotland.
Hey, and we really appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Enjoyed the show.
Hey, Steve.
See you later. And it's always great to see Steve. He's a great player. I've played with Steve a few times, and it's great to play with him.
He's a good man.
Yeah, yes, he is.
We wrote that song kind of together. I forgot Ship of Paper, whatever. Was it?
That's right. That was good. That's on YouTube. It's good. I've really enjoyed playing that with you.
Is he getting royalties?
No, actually, it's not. Yeah, I can't get royalty because it's sort of like a Junior Wells, but it's a minor key. Anyway, we'll talk more. Let me get back to the people. I'm just going to start doing this every week.
Junior Wells is going to be chasing them down now.
Yeah.
Take care. Thank you.
Cheers and bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Hey, Steve, I don't mean to put you on the spot. We're running down on time here. You feel like playing a tune on the guitar
no,
over there
I'd
for
rather
us?
Talk more.
Rather just talk? Okay.
We need to talk about.
You want to do more Italian stuff?
Enough of the.
Give us a new recipe or something?
No.
You got to excuse that. It's like, we want to actually thank Steve a lot for coming out tonight, because he's like, believe it or not, he's like deathly ill, which is why I'm sitting like this away from him, because I don't want to get.
No, I'm actually not that bad right now. I will say I want to do this more often, and we should just make this, come bring me back in, because I know got a little bit sidetracked here about Scotland, but see, there you go. No. I mean,
I think that's perfect.
I got to go. I got to go to Scotland because 2000. Here, I give you an example. How there's a guy named Jim Condy. There was agents. I was told in Europe, no, you have to go through this agent, and I went direct to the Isle of Man. It's like a folk roots blues festival, and they booked me, and that was enough money. And then I took a trip over to Aberdeen. And then little by little, you got to crawl before you walk. You can't just go into a market right now. And even with your videos, you have to come down here. And if you're going to work around here, you need to do a few gigs. And there's a lot of sweat. It's like you said with Sugar Fix, young band. They're nobody knows them. It's a lot of work.
It's way more work than showing up 10 minutes before and setting up your amp.
But what I'm saying though too is like I had a night off in Italy on one tour, and I'd say hello to all my friends down in Prato at the Wallace Pub, and my agent's like, well, it's only going to be you run a jam for 150 euros on a Monday night, and they'll pick you up. Took a train down from Milan and didn't know what to expect, and because of that jam, I got a big gig from Alba, met all these different people. So instead of sitting in your hotel room, I've already made money on the Italian tour. Go out and keep expanding your market. There's a way to do it, and I'll do my seminar again. I never went to step 2 about how to tour internationally and build things like that, but there's
that's what else we can talk about next time. Yeah,
we
definitely want to have you back.
We're gonna have a show on that. I think there's a guy that wants to come on and talk about international stuff, so that'd be cool.
Good. So anyway,
excellent and stuff. Don't mind him. Don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain there. Who is that?
Who was that masked man?
Who is this?
Who is this?
I didn't see anything.
I don't know. Anyway, was it the fluffer? Anyway, moving on quickly. So anyway, it's like, Steve, so give us some more. We have a few minutes left. Give us some parting thoughts. What do you think about what guys established in the area and not established? How can they help themselves build up? And get more gigs, or expand their image conscious? What do you think would probably be the most important things to do?
Build your own sound. I mean, go ahead. I mean, there's a lot of places in Bradenton that want people to play the same thing over and over, but that's changing. You've got to go ahead and do something that's unique. Do the covers. I mean, I do a lot of covers, but they're what's going on here?
No, I'm just it's
Who is this?
we have to do that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
about that.
anyway,
Forgive me.
the situation is build your own sound. You got to spend time marketing. Not a lot. You don't want to overmarket. You've just got to build your fan base. Do something that's different. Work on the videos. Develop your own sound. I mean, rehearse. Build something. You don't go to jams. I'm going to go to jam and automatically. No. Jam sessions can be a waste of time. They really can be. If you're going to do something with a band, build a sound, and that's pretty much what I got to say about that.
What about the publicity, like we'll talk about one sheets and all that kind of stuff? What do you think about what's your thoughts about those things?
Well, you need a one sheet.
Yeah. Well, tell people what a one sheet is, because a lot of folks don't even have any idea what a one sheet is.
Well, instead of having a whole press package, you just have a. I wish I had one with me. You just have your name, some of the places that you played, some of the styles. It's just something that you hand the club, or you can email and
Got another phone call here. Who's this from?
Who's this?
Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
My name's Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Watching the show.
Great.
Hi, Frank.
How are you, Frank?
How you doing?
I'm fine. I just have a little food for thought, being there talking about watching the show.
Go ahead. You might want to turn whatever you listen to down
I
there.
just want to say that to somebody. Turn your radio
Hello,
down.
Lee. How are you?
Hello.
Hi. Where you at, Frank?
Okay.
Where you at?
I'm in Spring Hill, Florida.
Oh, cool.
Go ahead with your question there, Frank.
Hey, Frank. Am I speaking to Lee or Steve?
We can all hear you.
All three of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, we all
okay.
hear you.
What I think also needs to be addressed, and perhaps you'd want to touch on it a little bit, and that's your feeling about the musician's competency with regard to what people can make in the bars. I mean, I think what's happened, and it's always been the case, and that is you get the weekend warriors that'll come in and work for just about anything. And the attitude of the club owners is that they're happy to have a bunch of monkeys, because they're basically not relying on the musicians to bring their business in. It's just a form of entertainment. They're not really, most bars, the audience is not interested in the music. They're interested in meeting each other.
Right. I agree. Frank, we're actually going to do a whole show. I think it's the 14th of January on compensation. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things that involve that, musicians that will, this is Mark, by the way, but musicians that will actually, that are actually kind of undercutting because they will go in for less than what maybe other musicians think they should. But go ahead, Lee. What do you think about that?
No, it's true. It's like there's a thing there where it's like I don't. It's a cycle I saw happen in a lot of bars and stuff. You be playing in a club, you're making good money, right? Some other guy, weekend warriors, like you were calling them before, and I got nothing against weekend warriors. Don't get me wrong, right? I'm just telling the story. I love it. I think they're great, but it's like they see a band performing, a person performing, and they're like, you know what, we can do that. We play. We play in the garage all the time and that kind of stuff. We'll get together. We'll take it out there. So they go to the club owner. They talk to the guy, right? And they promote themselves, whatever. And the guy gives them a gig. And he goes, well, how much do you need? Give us the beer tabs or whatever else. You know what I mean? Or $100 for 5 guys, whatever.
Yeah, I agree with you what you're saying.
But here's the thing, though. What happens is, it's like, and the first time they played there, it's an event, right? Their friends will all show up. Right, it's a good time. Everybody's having fun. The bar owner's really happy because he's made a good party, had a great night, and he didn't have to pay the band that much, right? So he hires them again for the same deal, and they're happy because there's another party for them, right? But the thing is, though, if they start playing, they start doing more and more of this, right? And they start playing more gigs and stuff, and then after a while, but the thing is, they weren't that really competent enough yet
Well,
But what it does, Lee, is it lowers the overall expectation.
Sure.
Even
gets to the
of the
point.
competent musicians that come in that have honed their craft and put the thousands and thousands of hours in it takes to become at least proficient. And now what happens is the market is understanding they're going to pay a lower price even for a higher quality act. And
it's
I
not
mean,
so
that's
much
a
of the
cycle
fact
that's
of the
been
lower
going on,
price.
and I've been in the music business for a long time. It's always been.
But what I've seen more than just saying that the bar is used to paying this price, or that what we're going to pay now. Here's the problem I've been seeing from the bar side of things, right? The band isn't that they've been paying for a lower price, or whatever. After a while, their friends won't even come see them as often.
Yeah, I think.
Right?
Yeah, I think Frank's kind of looking at the bigger picture a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with him. Actually,
But what happens is I get a phone call back from the bar owner, the guy who's booking, goes, "Hey, I want to get you back here. It's like, we gotta get you, we haven't had you in a while. Blah, blah, blah." I'm like, well, here's my price. It's, I can't pay that anymore. He goes, why not? Because, well, business hasn't been that good lately. And now I can do a percentage of the bar or this or that or whatever. And I'm like, well, it was doing good before. What happened? We had these guys come in, right? Ruins your business. Your customers aren't coming in anymore because you used to have a really good spot, right? Destination point. That's what I always tell the bars. You want to become a destination point, And now it's like your business is going down, and now you can't afford to have good acts. What can we do? I mean, what do you think?
But unfortunately, most of the time, that sticks us in the position, let me not say us. I wouldn't even qualify myself. But what happens is now that the competent people that could demand a higher price have to come in at a lower price just to be competitive.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's saying the whole market has become saturated and it's brought it down across the board.
All
basically.
I can tell you is that one thing: you're gonna make it in this business down here. Get yourself a Honda Element or a Scion or something like that. And you gotta do a lot of driving because the places they come and go. They start and everybody comes in undercuts. It's the same thing, and then everything goes down. And most of these bars, bottom line, they don't make it.
Yeah, let me just add to a little something.
You better travel.
Well, Steve, Steve, I think it's been that way for all the time, not just down here. I think it's our geographical area. I think it's across the board. I did a lot of work in New York and New York City, and the bar business was always loaded with this very same scenario.
Let me ask you something. I hate to put something in there, but let's call it a little controversy. What happened to the Wine Toad?
Oh, up here in our area?
Yeah.
They changed management, and now they've gone back to putting entertainment in. But, of course...
Oh, really?
Of course, a lot of the good people that worked there before are not going back because they've got a bad taste left in their mouth, and the budget is no longer what it was.
Oh,
You count me as one of those people. I mean, I used to have great nights there.
The Wine Toad, I got all these fans in Spring Hill. I got a place to stay over there,
Right.
But here again,
Same here,
then all of a sudden everything, turns into a nearish canonical nightmare.
I go in there, I go in there and have be a great night. And then suddenly it's like, oh, we're going DJ or something like that. We change the management. You said.
What I want to say is I want to get the show on for a 5 hour. We're just gonna have Starbucks all night, and we're just gonna have everybody calling and all. It'll be a party. I want to.
We'll call it Arvey's kids.
No, not Arvey's. because again though,
telephone now.
But and here, the Wine Toad was good people. They had craft beer. They treated me really good.
Yes.
I get. It was a long drive for me from Spring Hill from Bradenton. They only paid $150, which is a long way. But you know what? I go up there because, and the same thing with Inglewood. I go up to a lot of these areas because I sell product and I have my fan base. And then because of that, I get other festivals. You got to take care of your fans. And I would drive up there for $150 on a Thursday, even though I could make more money at Kojak's or somewhere else. But I needed to get that market. And I love you.
One thing real quick, Steve, before we go, where you at this week?
I'm calling the Wine Toad.
Where you playing at this week besides the Wine Toad?
Let's see.
Someday?
Tonight I'm at Ocean Blues. Wednesday I'm at Beaks. Original music series. Come on down, play.
When is that?
A Wednesday night, it's play your own songs at Beaks. Thursday, I'm at Kojak's. Friday, I'm at the Fleur de Lis Cafe cooking. And then Saturday, I'm doing a benefit for the Manatee No-Kill shelter. And then Sunday, where the hell am I on Sunday? The 13th. Oh, I'm at Aces with the Delta Swamp Rats.
There you go.
Where are you this week, Lee?
Let's see here. I have, let me think. I'm doing Tuesday night, tomorrow night over at Pittsburgh Mix. We've got the Inglewood doing the Amvets over there in Inglewood. It's a great place. I love that place. That's on Saturday, I believe, the 12th. and a couple of things I can't remember off the top of my head.
All right,
Mark,
no problem.
About yourself?
Well, you know what? We're coming down to the wire here, and I just want to get a couple things mentioned for sure. And I want to thank GoTonight.com for their sponsorship. I want to thank Billy McKnight and the Soul Circus Cowboys, who we will be having on in a couple of weeks. And I want to thank.
Who's calling it? Who is this?
Let me just finish this, and I want to thank Jane's World Entertainment for their help with this. And now we got one last call. Go ahead. Who is this?
Well, this is Sarasota Sally, and I want to tell you, you had a great show today.
Sally, I appreciate you calling in so much. How are you?
I'm great. You did a great job, all of you. Great show. Very informative, and I really liked it. I'm not a musician, but I promote all of you.
Yeah.
And you did a great job.
Well, thank you, Sally, for calling in.
Check
we
out
love
Sarasota Sally's website.
Thanks. Have a great day.
See you later, sweetie.
Bye. Bye.
And I just want to quickly say thanks to Steve for coming in today, and thanks to Don McKean, who owns GoTonight.com, for his help, guidance, and support. Sherry, thank you for being here. And Lee, nice to meet you.
Same here, brother. I think we had a good show for our first one.
Thanks,
Went out good.
Thanks to all my people around the world that have tuned in today.
Yep.
At
And
least from Scotland.
Yeah, that was good.
I have to say, I have to just give a shout out to a guy named Toncho, and he's sitting in Guadalajara, Mexico right now. Viva la Mexico!
Easy, old
Steve,
man.
take it easy.
Easy, old man.
We just lost Steve on the floor.
Steve, medic, we need a medic.
Well, this is how we end the first show. What can I tell you? Thank you so much, folks. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Been a lot of fun, and will we be next week? What is it? Be talking about compensation. I have a feeling that'll be part of every show, somewhat.
Yeah, somewhere online, but this one's going to get serious.
Yeah.
You guys did awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sherry.